What does the term macro-friendly mean? There's a lot of confusion about this one. In fact, I think I own macrofriendly.com. I think I bought that like a long time ago, or maybe I had the Instagram. I don't know. I did something at one point because there's so much confusion. This happened just the other day where I was at my trainer's in his office at the gym, and somebody brought in some like protein donuts. And I was like, yeah, protein. Let's look at these things, right? 12 grams of fat, 6 protein, and 32 carbs. How on earth is that macro-friendly? That is not macro-friendly. And it's always been this way. I mean, I founded IIFWham.com. I am in the game. I know this stuff. And to me, and every elite coach that I know and associate with and talk to on a regular basis, macro-friendly is very simple. It is low in fat, moderate in carbs, and moderate to high in protein. Simple as that. And why is that? Well, because typically that is the way our macros fall into place. The human body responds better to a diet that is low to moderate in fat if you're not in ketosis, low to moderate in fat, right? Moderate to high in carbs, and moderate to high in protein. So when we have macro breakdown of low fat, moderate carbs, moderate to high protein, it kind of allows us to fit that right in. We can just fit it right in and then add some other things throughout the day. When you have something that is high in fat and high in carbs and low in protein, you're not going to be able to eat very much of that. Most coaches don't put people on high carb, high fat, low protein diets. That is just not a thing. So when you want to go find something that is macro friendly, like, look, your macros are going to be different from every other person on this planet. Now, you're going to share some macros, but they're based on you, on your body, on your gender, your age, your weight, right? Your energy level, how tall you are, how often you're in the gym, how much cardio you do, what you do for work. Do you sit at a desk? Are you a lumberjack? Do lumberjacks even exist anymore? I don't know. I'm pretty sure they do, but they burn a lot of calories. I know that. And if you're one of them, your macros are going to be higher than everybody else's and different from everybody else's. So you have to find foods that are going to fit into your macro allotment for the day. And it is going to be easier for most people to fit in something that is low in fat, low to moderate, moderate in carbs, and moderate to high in protein. That's macro-friendly. Now, macro-friendly, if you're having a refeed, might also mean that thing has 50 grams of carbs and 20 protein and 5 fat. It means it could be different depending on who you are and what's going on. But that kind of ratio is kind of a macro-friendly area that most people will fit into. Now, back to the story of my trainer. When I looked at the macros of this protein donut, they were so off and so terrible. I was like, what the... And I brought it up to and he goes, here's the thing that you don't understand, Anthony, because you own IIFWham.com and you were immersed in this stuff and you were just in it every day, you fail to recognize that not everybody in the world understands macros, which is why I'm doing this video course for you. But it is such a hot topic that everybody else in the world is jumping on it and just throwing stuff out there. I could put something out there that has the word macros on it and people are going to believe that it is true to the form of what IIFWham is because they don't know it otherwise. He said, so when people come out with macro friendly, all it means these days is it has the macros listed. Does that make sense? And after I said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is how people that are not in the industry, that don't do this for a living, that are not aware, view macro friendly, which is why I'm doing this particular video. He told me that macro friendly was just having the macros listed on the package. That is an FDA requirement. You have to have the macros listed on the package if you make more than 5,000 servings a year. Under 5,000 servings is considered like a bake sale and you don't have to do it, right? But if you're in a business and you do more than 5,000 a year, you have to have the FDA nutrition facts listed on the package. So that means everything out there other than bake sales is macro friendly, which doesn't make sense at all. Look, if you find this confusing, if you're not sure, low fat, moderate to high carbs, moderate to high protein, whatever, just remember this. Macro friendly is whatever you can eat that will fit within your macro allotment without throwing you over for the day. Hopefully you enjoy that food. Hopefully you're eating something that you like. Hopefully it doesn't screw you up for the rest of the day. But macro friendly is nothing more than being able to fit something into your diet that you enjoy that doesn't screw you up and take away from your meals later on. Simple as that, guys. An example I'll leave you with, macro friendly to me, if I were going to have a candy bar or a donut or something, I would want to have an item that was about 5 to 7, 8 grams of fat, right? Carbs, 15 to 25, and protein 15 to 30. That would probably be good for me because when I'm dieting, my macros tend to be 50 to 60 grams of fat, 150, 200 grams of carbs, and about 180 to 200 grams of protein. So for me, that candy bar that I just kind of gave you an example of, I could eat one of those and not screw up the other meals that I'm going to have during the day. But if that candy bar had 3 times as much fat, look, I only get 50 or 60 in a day, and if that candy bar has 25 grams of fat, that's half of my fat for the day. So when looking at foods and you're trying to determine if they're macro friendly or not, is this going to wreck me for the day? Can I eat this one thing and still have the rest of my meals? If the answer is no, don't eat it. It's not macro friendly. Simple as that.